So this morning we're waiting for the remaining sea pack to arrive to finish off the base of the house. Meanwhile the trench is starting to be dug for the waste pipe. This is all a bit bitty at the moment, and later today I'm disappearing off back to Pattaya, and shortly thereafter I'm going back to the UK for a while. So once this base has been laid, the building work will actually stop for a few months, and there'll be just minor odd bits being done like this drain and redoing the guttering and sorting out the drainage for the gutters so that the water actually leaves the compound. And the final section of the wall is something Suntory wants to get put in. The final 2.5 metres, now that we've had all our soil delivered and the access is not so important. The only things that are going to be delivered now are going to be things like cement and more blocks, maybe some more steel. We have got plenty of that. So the access that we're having as a normal run-of-the-mill access will be 5 metres wide, which should be sufficient to cope with the traffic that we expect now. And the final section of wall needs to be completed under the previous fixed price arrangement we had with the lads in the village, so she wants to get that sorted and build a retaining wall up the drive effectively. So down the hill that you're looking at now, which will enable us to level off this sand and for it to be retained properly and not run out into the road as it is now. It means that once that bit of wall building's done, we can actually level this site off, tidy it up a bit, and it'll make it much more convenient then for the next stage of the house building. There's a good bit of tidying up being done here, getting the raw materials all organised in the garage. That will provide extra room for other deliveries, of course. I have to say that I found the last week and a bit quite stressful here, because I'm very much looking forward to this house being built. It's going to be a very pleasant environment to live in. Where Suntory is at the moment is not a very pleasant environment, unfortunately, for various reasons. And the fact that this building work has come to a halt for 2 months while she was away working, and the fact that it hasn't recommenced in the way that we had hoped, or that I had hoped, has led to us having some words, if I can put it like that, and it's made me quite stressed. So just remember, when you are building your own place, if you're not doing it under a contract where the monitoring of it is somewhat simpler and the responsibility lies with the site contractor, you will have various times of extreme stress, as I've pointed out throughout these videos, where things aren't done right or aren't done in a timely fashion. Anyway, hopefully a lot of the smaller jobs will get done before we recommence the big building stuff, which is likely to restart September when I return, unless Suntory's off working again. So a lot of talking in this particular vlog, I'm afraid. Well, there's a lot of talking in everyone, I think, isn't there, as I explain what's going on. And I'm sorry if people get bored with too much talking and not enough action, but sometimes the action is rather repetitive. I could put the camera on this chap for an hour and you could watch him very slowly dig a trench, but there isn't a lot of point to that. Personally, these vlogs are a record for my own use, if you like, as to what went on and what problems we had. I hope that you do find them useful, but this isn't a sort of how-to video which has to be technically perfect. It's just a bit of a rambling, so forgive me and unsubscribe if you hate it. So what I'm hoping will happen whilst I'm away, if you like, is that the drainage for the bathrooms will be completed. The last section of wall, front wall, will be built, and a retaining wall will be built up the drive to meet the corner of the garage at a level of the current CPAC in the garage, so that we're creating an area which we can then subsequently CPAC flat to the second post there, and then it will go down the hill to the gate. I'm hoping they'll move all the blocks from that wall and from that side there into position on the pad, ready for building. I'm hoping that Suntory will sort out the guttering on this side of the house. She's seen what I've done on the other side, and she's got an instruction video on YouTube, so hopefully a proper job can be made of that. And we've got the extra guttering as well, we've purchased. I hope that the drainage for the guttering will be sorted out, so we don't let the water from the roof just fall down into the compound as it is at the moment. As a temporary measure, we need to get a pipe coming down from the corner of the guttering there and over the wall into the field, maybe tied off to one of the trees. That way we can keep all this area free of running water when it rains. That will let it dry off. It'll settle down to its normal level, and more importantly, it won't keep pressurising this wall along this edge here with water in its footings. T-Rack, I would help, but the government says I can't work. We're not allowed to work, we're only allowed to spend. We can spend our money, but we can't earn it. CPAC's arrived. We have a slightly smaller team working today because we've only got 3 cubic metres to actually spread out. Here we go, he's given it the final mix and he's now putting the engine into reverse. Incidentally, the base that we pulled the other day was supposed to be 10 centimetres thick, but it does appear to have ended up more like 11 or 12, which is great as far as I'm concerned. It does look very, very thick over there. Here we go. This is very, very wet. And of course it's looking wetter than normal simply because it's being laid on plastic sheeting, so none of this moisture that you're seeing is getting absorbed by the sand like it normally would do. I just hope with this particular pour and well, actually it's this one that concerns me more, because it was an afterthought that Suntory decided that she wanted it lower than the rest of the house, because this is actually going to be an outside space. We didn't sort of prepare the edges on that basis, so you will notice that there was a sort of lip. So the edge of this base is sort of sitting over a lip, which means that if it's 10 centimetres thick in the centre, it's only 5 centimetres thick around the edges. And the only concern I have with that is its long-term strength. If the earth in the centre settles a bit, there'll be more pressure on these 5 centimetre edges to crack off. Not a problem with the bathrooms because we knew that we were going to pour these lower. So the ring beam has been set lower to accommodate that. That's what I was looking for, the word ring beam. The ring beam on the around this area has been set as if it was being poured as the rest of the house has been poured. Still, there's plenty of steel in it, and it's not going to take any weight as such. It's just going to be its own weight that's the problem. Mike, down. Stop. Yeah. Bit lower there, is it? Bit low. That corner. Can you see where you're going? That's it, finished. Okay. So I'm on my way back to Pattaya now, and the building project is pretty much on hold now until September, mid-September, maybe a little later depending on work commitments. So one of the beauties of Thailand is this lovely journey through the countryside, looking up at these sorts of cloud formations. Absolutely gorgeous.